So more of Jarrad's random thoughts. The first one is, I just learned, this is kind of embarrassing, but I just learned recently, within the past 2 years, how to actually shave my face. Were you guys ever taught how to shave? Like the proper way to shave?
I feel like my father gave me a tutorial.
Because I used to always get red bumps and like irritation. And I'm like, how can I get rid of this? I'm shaving. I'm doing it right. But then I realized that your skin has to be like warm. So it's better to do it like outside of the shower. And you're not supposed to go against the grain. Which, did you guys know that? Were you guys taught that?
Yeah, I do know you're supposed to go.
Well, it just felt uncomfortable. It was like trial and error, where it was like, ugh, I don't like that feeling.
But I didn't know if it was just me that was never taught how to shave. Because I didn't have a real dad like growing up. Well, I did have a stepdad, but he didn't teach me how to like shave.
He wasn't a good teacher.
No.
Yeah, no, I did get a tutorial, but I feel like it's a lot of experimentation on your own anyway.
Okay.
Now,
so
granted that you learned it when you were and was probably a little late. But
way late. But I had to Google it. I was like, or YouTube it. I was like, how do you actually do this? But okay, so you guys were taught the basics, but not like.
But you have a nice beard. Like, I do think that is a different animal.
The trimming's easy. It's just finding the right length that works.
Well, that's
for
ultimately
you.
why I ended up just like kind of saying screw it, because the irritation was like, oh, no, I don't want to deal with this, so I might as well just keep it and then use like regular hair clippers and just kind of shave. Because the irritation's so annoying when you get like whatever it is, little pimply
terrible
stuff developing. It's like, I don't want to deal with
it. I don't like it. Okay.
The fact that you were 13 years old when you figured that out is a little mind-boggling. But you've had a beard for a while now.
Yeah, for a minute. I think that guys look better with beards.
Yeah.
I'm not. Like,
I just started one. I'm working on it.
But it usually comes down to whether your woman is okay with it. Because some women hate beards. They're like, no way.
Yeah. Well, it is. I can imagine kissing a man with a beard. I've not personally done it.
Have, actually.
I probably have.
And he
at
had
some
a beard,
point.
so that's why it didn't bother you.
Yeah. It would probably be a weird sensation. Like all of a sudden, like a man's gonna like rub his like hair against your mouth.
Yeah, you're just getting pricked. That sounds awful.
Yeah. Honestly, men are gross as shit.
We are.
Yeah.
Like
Well, that's when you know you're not gay. It's like the idea of like of a man's body.
No, it's
like,
repulsive.
God, female bodies are so great. And we're just disgusting. We're hairy everywhere.
Oh, we're absolutely gross. Like, yeah, like that's why when gay dudes are like gay, I'm like, they're obviously into that. They're into that. Like, because I'm not. I find it repulsive. So I'm
Same.
like, the like making out with a guy with a beard sounds really rough. Like for a woman or a man. I mean, I can't imagine that any of us are able to like procreate or be with women. Like if I was a woman, I'd just be like, these people are disgusting.
They're gross.
At the same time, you've kissed more men than anyone I know.
Not with beards.
You've kissed me before. Actually, I think your wife has a picture of you grabbing my face and kissing me.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to incriminate you a little bit more about how secretly gay you are.
I'm just talking a tough gay.
When we would go out to the bars, you would be the one that would always hit on other patrons in the bar. Do you remember?
Yeah, but that was a goof, and we were like 20.
But some of the guys took it pretty well, like they played along with it.
Yeah, some
but
guys
then
would be really
guys,
mad.
oh my God,
Yeah.
I remember sitting back and watching. I'm like, I'm gonna have to get in a fight tonight, trying to defend out because you take
What was his go-to? I forget. Did he just like grab their ass as they walked by?
He would just like he would do all kinds of things, like go just like put his arms around him and talk to him, and it's.
You're right. No, a lot of men are very put off by another man hitting on them. Whether that man be straight or gay, like they're not a big fan.
No,
and rightfully so. I mean, it's also like, I would be very uncomfortable.
But there's some guys who were pretty good about.
They'll
just like they'll take it and they're like, they play along.
That's a good point. In general, I feel like we make a lot of gay jokes and stuff as a group, and I feel like that is either you do it or you don't.
Quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, Fully Loaded Tobacco-Free Chew. Check out the description of this video or the show notes to get 20% off your next order.
Like I've been around groups of older men where that's like taboo, man. Like you'd be like,
Oh yeah.
Hey man, let me give you a kiss. Be like, you fucking kiss me and I'm gonna come and kill you. And you're like,
Oh,
oh
no.
shit. Like I crossed that one. Like I shouldn't have went there. Like
It's a generational thing. Like I
Yeah.
think, like my dad and his buddies, they just don't understand it.
no, it's not.
Any of our weird comments about like touching each other, like, what's wrong with your friends? Like they don't understand it. It's like it's just a goof, man.
Yeah, like no, like these guys aren't actually engaging in gay sex. They're making a joke. But at the same time, it isn't even that funny. Like we make those jokes, and I'm always like, you know what? They are funny. I'm not giving up.
They are funny.
They're funny.
Yes,
I'm not gonna say it's not when I know it is.
they're definitely funny.
It's funny.
I mean, well, I get confused on like how they don't understand that it's a joke though, because like if you're just straight, it's if you see a woman and you're straight, you're not gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna come give you a kiss when you like don't really know. Like they'd be like, what? It's more comfortable to just goof around with your buddies. But yeah, my dad and his buddies. I think your dad is the same way.
Yeah, I don't think most men above like 60 are really big fans of like goofing around with that. Like they're like if you like put your hand on their thigh, they're gonna punch you.
These guys are playing too much grab ass.
Yeah, yeah. Like they're not gonna be big fans of this. Like they're gonna be very uncomfortable. There are the rare occasion guys, but it almost comes off weird when you got like a 7-year-old guy. I almost don't want him to like play along.
That'd be great if they reciprocated and were like, "Oh yeah," and like went for your crotch. You'd be like, "Whoa!"
Yeah. It's like,
What? I thought we were goofing, man.
So we know how the older folks react. I'm curious how your children are going to react as they grow up and they see all of us acting like that around each other.
Well,
I'm very curious.
I've cut that out pretty dramatically.
But eventually they're going to see it. Like, because your kids are still fairly young. But I'm talking, when they get to be like 20, 25, when they see all of us acting the same way, I'm curious what they're going to think.
My dad and his like 56-year-old buddies are constantly grabbing each other and talking about.
It was funny. One of our friends, he was over with his daughter like 3 months ago. And we were in my garage watching football. And I didn't see his daughter. She was directly behind him. And actually, you were there.
Oh, that Browns game, yeah.
And we're sitting there, and I made a joke. I was like, yeah, once we get these kids out of here, you know, we can have ourselves an
orgy?
Essentially. And I said it in very graphic terms. And then I just see him step aside, and his 9-year-old daughter was standing directly behind him. And I remember just being like, oh my God. And I said it like in very graphic terms. And I remember thinking like, what the hell does she think? Like in her world, like I don't know if she even understands what I said because it was so terrible, but like also, does she think that like her dad and I are gonna like engage?
Yeah,
sex?
that's an impressionable moment. That's probably gonna stick with her.
Yeah,
forever.
I felt really bad. I remember thinking like, oh my God, like it was the most vile thing I said in like a 6-month period, and I said it in front of a 9-year-old unintentionally.
What's the guy's initials?
DH.
Yeah. Were you not there? Yeah, I guess I was there. I was there. I didn't realize I didn't hear you say that though, but I knew she was.
It wasn't my proudest moment. But it's one of those things. Yeah, I think our kids would be confused.
Yeah, but
Oh, really? Just think of when you were 9. If like your dad's buddies were over and you heard that, you'd be like, "What is my dad secretly looking?"
I think this fella here is having intercourse with my father.
But I think they're going to be around long enough to where they'll almost be conditioned by us to where at first it might be weird, but eventually they're just going to be like, it's my gay dad and his friends. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's because they'll probably have friends around that are like, why are these guys acting gay with each other and they're all married?
They're probably gay.
Yeah. It's like
the
guy that goes on our golf trip with us. Like he's like 70.
Yeah, there are that. There's there's those groups. Yeah, we got a guy. He's in mid-70s, and yeah, he'll bring it right back to you, and it sort of throws you off because you're not ready for that. When he comes in and he'll say something and be like, "Tell you what, man, we got a few minutes. You want to head out to the woods?" Like he'll do some stuff, and you're like,
is he
"I
actually
didn't see
serious?
that coming." Yeah, like
Is he serious?
this guy's in his mid-70s. I'm sure he's still in good shape. Looks like he wants to get down. Like who knows? And I don't know his personal life much, so that's a generational thing.
Yeah, once they get it. Well, it's like your father-in-law. He he gets it.
Yeah, he gets it. He's that kind of. He gets it.
He's into that horsing around.
Yeah,
And the boys are doing
playing a little grab ass with the boys. Yeah, no, yeah.
But we have
We're probably just all gay.
well, and we've all known each other for so long that
We ran out of things. You know what that is? I think it is. It's a comfort thing. We've just known each other for so long that we ran through the girl jokes, and we just are out of jokes. So it's like now we're into exclusively gay jokes.
it's a slow progression. We've
Yeah.
had a lot of time.
It's a slippery
We've had
slope.
a lot of time.
It's that slippery slope that they always talk about. You start making jokes about girls, and soon enough, you're making out with your friends.
All right. I'm gonna go with this one. Okay. So, do you guys ever get door-to-door salesmen at your house? You live in a neighborhood, so you guys probably
Yes,
don't get
I
many people
do.
soliciting. Okay, so
I do,
they still
yeah.
come. Do you?
No,
Never.
thank goodness. No, I mean, at
Not
our
when
place
you're
of
home, at
business,
least.
yeah, but like residential, like whatever, cable or buy into this delivery service. No, I don't get any of that.
So I wouldn't do this at a business, but I figure out the best way to get rid of door-to-door salesmen because they're so annoying. Like I'll be in the middle of work during the day and they'll knock and my dog's going nuts. I'm like, oh my god, this is so annoying. So I figured out a very good way to get rid of them, and I tested it out maybe like a month ago, and then I just tested it out about 5 days ago when a guy came to my door. Well, he didn't come to my door, but he was creeping around the neighborhood. So I was working at my garage, and whenever I can see out into the sidewalk, and when I see people walking by multiple times, I get suspicious. So I'll usually just walk out to the end of my driveway and just stand there and look, let people know, hey, I see you. And there was this guy that was kind of puttering around. I could tell he was some religious type, but he was puttering around. I'm like, hey, how's it going? I was being nice, didn't go aggressive with him. Finished my workout, went back inside. I see him still kind of walking up and down the sidewalk, but it was, I don't know, he's pacing back and forth, and I saw him going up to some doors. So I was like, all right, I talked to him 30 minutes ago. Now I'm in my house. He's still puttering around. So I open my front door. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? He was like, oh, I'm just going out to people's doors. He said something about some religion. And I was like, you're kind of creeping me out a little bit. I was like, I might have to call the cops if you don't quit acting all creepy. I was like, we got kids in this neighborhood. I was like, this isn't cool. And he said something. I don't know what he said, but I was like, you know what? I was like, you actually look like one of those pedophiles that I see on the news. And his face instantly turned like red, and he just darted off. And
You might have pegged a pedophile.
maybe, but I
Like, if you called me a pedophile, I'd be like, leave me alone, weirdo. Like, for him to leave, I think he was a pedophile.
maybe. But either way, I think
Calling him a pedophile?
calling somebody a pedophile is the best way to get rid. Be like, you know what? You look like that one pedophile that I saw on the news.
That's a
the
great
other day."
move.
Great move.
I've never done that.
I hadn't either, but
I've tried that too. Works great.
I had always thought about it, but I was like, I need to test this out on this guy.
It worked.
Yes,
I like it.
I think it's
I
great.
really like it. I think it's a good tool in general. I actually think we underuse throwing the pedophile term around.
You think we underuse it?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever really called someone a pedophile.
I guess that's true.
I think
And
everyone can accept, as we talked about before, it's like you don't want to be considered a pedophile. There's
No.
plenty of things now that are acceptable, but thank God that's still considered something.
Pedophile's still something. It still holds water. You know, like, that's the thing. They've ruined other terms when you think about it. Like, Nazi now, like,
Oh yeah.
what's a Nazi?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like everyone's a Nazi. They're just like, oh yeah, you're a Nazi. It's like, well, okay, I'm not a Nazi. So that doesn't make any sense anymore. That word has lost all its meaning.
The
Racist.
definition.
But as
Racist
long
has
as you're
lost
comfortable,
all meaning.
yeah, like no, I'm not.
Yeah,
like if you were to do that to me, I'd be like, what? Why are you calling me a pedophile?
Right.
So the fact that he like got defensive and like freaked out and ran away, like he actually might be a pedophile.
Or it just plants a seed in his head, and he's like, "Oh my God, do I look like a pedophile out here going up door to door?" Right?
Yeah, he starts
So-
to question like, yeah.
Or he's like, do I like children?
Or that. So that's what I mean. It
Did
causes,
he have any identification? Like,
No.
Yeah,
But
if
it
he's
ca-
just creeping around. That's kind of weird.
It causes enough confusion in their head to where they don't even know what to think, whether they are or whether they aren't. It's enough to fluster them to have them get the hell out of there
So, like,
and never come back.
If I got it, like the one guy that comes around a lot, they sell like a bug prevention thing for your house. So
Lawn care.
I'm gonna try this. So he's gonna come up and he's gonna give me a spiel like, hey, you know, we have this safe bug treatment for your house. And I'm gonna be like, you look like a pedophile. And we're just going to see where that goes.
It's like, there's a lot of kids in this neighborhood, and you look like that one. You could either say you look like a pedophile, or you could say
A specific
You look
pedophile.
like that pedophile I saw on the news. And if they're like,
my
no,
God,
if they're
that
like,
would be awesome.
no, that's not me. I'm like, oh my God, that is you. I'm gonna take. And if you, this is what you do. If you want to level it up, you start pulling out your camera. You're like, I got to take a picture of you and show everybody that this pedophile. Because then they'll think, oh my God, this person's gonna post it, and they're gonna say pedophile, and the people who know me, my picture's gonna be there. I'm not a pedophile.
Yeah.
I gotta get the hell out of here. That's how you really level it up.
I feel like though we're gonna turn pedophile into the same way they've ruined the word Nazi. We're gonna ruin the word pedophile. I don't want it to lose its meaning.
Oh, okay. I don't care about that. I'm gonna keep calling people pedophiles, door-to-door salesmen pedophiles.
Maybe
So
just
we're
try Nazi. Like they show up at your door and you're like, get out of here. You look like a Nazi.
No, because it doesn't hit as hard
You're right.
nowadays.
It's lost
but I
all
guess,
its
like
meaning.
you said, I'll be feeding into making the pedophile term.
We don't
I'm
want to
gonna
lose
be
its
watering
luster.
it down. I'm gonna still keep doing it though.
I'm gonna try it. I'm looking forward to my next door-to-door salesman. You know what'll happen? It'll be like a 12-year-old kid selling candy bars.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, you look like a pedophile.
Selling the Girl Scout cookies. Ma'am, you look like a pedophile. She's like, I'm like 10. I'm like, I don't care. You
Pedophile.
look like a pedophile.
Next thing you know, the parents are knocking on the house. You called my daughter a pedophile? What is wrong with you?
I don't. There was another guy that came to my door. He's door-to-door salesman. He was a window guy, and I opened the door. I was like, I'm not interested, man. Didn't even give him a chance to say anything. He's like, you don't even know why I'm here. I'm like, mother effer, your hat says Window World. I know why you're here. So
I
he
can
was
do
like,
the math.
I just closed the door. I just closed the door. But I do not envy any of those door-to-door salesmen.
No.
That's got to be such a terrible job.
Unless you're really good at it. Because I actually think that some of them are excellent at it. I think that if you were able to actually approach people and have conversations and do that kind of stuff, you might be able to like kill it. Like I know these guys that sell solar are like doing really good.
Yeah.
Like you can do
I mean, the job still has to suck.
Yeah.
Because you know, like, you're
your
intruding
rejection rate
and,
is
like,
incredible.
everyone's got something else going on, and you're kind of, like, breaking that up.
Yeah,
and
you're
it's
the
like,
bad guy.
okay, they get them to engage. It's kind of like telesales, like, calling people. It's like, oh, my God, I know. They're so annoyed with my phone call right now.
Yeah,
and you got to
it's-
overcome that.
It's not a very rewarding and or fulfilling thing.
Oh,
We
it'd
also
be terrible.
so many times you're selling something that people don't want. Like if you had some like amazing thing that was like really fairly priced that was going to be awesome, like say like you solar panels. Like I was selling solar panels for like $1,000 and it was going to save somebody $12,000 on their electric for the year. Like you might get a lot of people to sign up,
Oh, yeah.
but like they're selling things that people don't want. Like hey, we can wash your windows. It's like give a shit
That's
about
why it's door-to-door sales, though. Because anything that people actually want, it's more like an inbound business because you're going to be calling yourself.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit, I can save $12,000
Yeah.
a year. Their jobs are like, people aren't thinking about it. It's nominal savings or this lawn care or bugs or window washing that they really don't need, and you got to, like, sell them on why they need it. Oh, I would hate it.
You ever had one of the vacuum people do a presentation at your house?
No. They still sold vacuums door to
I
door?
had one.
No
I
way.
had like an in-home
Wait,
presentation.
you
let 'em-
bought one.
No, I didn't buy it.
You let them
I
come to
thought
your
you
house?
did.
No, I didn't.
You let them come to in your house?
Well, he loves clean floors. So it's
I do
probably
love
like,
clean
oh.
floors.
You know what? I meant to bring this up. I saw your wife post a story on Instagram or something, and I remember seeing you in the back room vacuuming.
Yeah.
And then I heard stories about at the shop you got how Al's like always cleaning the floors or whatever. I don't know. Okay,
It's
so
his
this
obsession.
I'm a
this is
business
thing.
owner and a janitor. And no, cleanliness is next to godliness, and that is true.
So you're just looking for the best vacuum.
This this specific scenario was one of our friends. His initials are ES. Was actually working for Rainbow
Yeah.
Vacuums,
Okay.
and somehow or another, he was basically learning the trade, and the guy who was the normal salesman, and I think their turnover rate is quite high.
Hell yeah.
But he did this in-home presentation. I couldn't get him to leave my house. It was like they were there for 3 hours.
After he finished?
I couldn't get him to accept no. It's their move. They just
yeah.
literally they beat you down to a point where they're like, listen. Like I think by the end it was like you can make 800 payments of 94 cents. It was like that insane where I was like, dude, I don't want it. He's like, you can pay this off for the next 60 years.
See, he almost got you to the point where you would have to be angry and aggressive for him to get the heck out of your house.
I think it was like, I was like, I got to put my kids to bed. Like, you need to leave my house. Like, it was legitimately a 3 hour. You know what? Now that I think about it, I've had this twice.
With vacuums?
Yes.
Oh my,
Yes. I had it once when I lived in North Carolina. I've had 2 in-home vacuum demonstrations, and I tell you, the one thing is, they do clean your floors.
That's one benefit. The persistence, oh man.
But you can't get them to leave. Like, ever.
They don't take no for an answer.
No.
It's kind of, that would be annoying. It's kind of like those timeshare people when you're on a vacation.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, we'll give you free excursions or whatever. And then you get locked into a 3-hour presentation. And then you feel bad. There's a certain level of like, it's tough to just like be like, screw you, I'm out of here. So the fact that they're in your house.
Yeah. And you're guilted into it. It's like, I think the one guy said something about like he needed his money for XYZ. And it's like guilting me. I'm like, I don't want the vacuum, man. Like, I'm sorry. I have a vacuum. It's functional. Like,
here's $20. Just please get out of my house.
Yeah, like,
so you guys
don't do that.
You guys have these people come to your shop, like just show up, like door-to-door salespeople. Just
Yeah.
They
That's
can
a
just
real
walk
thing.
in the front door, right?
Yeah, that
If it's
happens
like
a lot.
employee recruitment stuff or telecom or whatever,
Printers
packaging,
or- yeah, absolutely.
corrugated boxes, we can do this and save you this, and it's usually like saving 1 cent per box, and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I have to go through?
It's a bitch.
annoying.
I mean, selling that kind of stuff too. Like the problem is to actually beat most companies have already kind of found their products. They're familiar with their people they purchase from, and they have relationships and that. Like to come in and sell something that someone already has, you have to like beat the price by like 50%.
It's tough to get them to switch, or it has to be so much better.
Right, right. Where you're like talking about like a revolutionary thing. Like I always think about like. We have a friend who sells HR software, and I'm like, he must be really good at it, like, because it's a humongous pain in the butt to have somebody switch that kind of a thing. Like, you're talking about an incredible amount of work for probably like minimal savings. Like, how do you get somebody to do that? Like, there's no way. It'd be like,
especially with bigger corporations, they almost have to have had a recent like nightmare experience, like with who they have to be like, all right, I'm gonna pull. You're talking benefits and 401k plans and like just time, like your PTO time, all that stuff that needs to migrate over. It's got to be a 6-figure thing because his target's 1,000+ employee companies.
It's that like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it thing. Like, you can't get me to buy a Samsung phone. You know what I mean? Like, they almost. I just got a new phone, and they tried to like basically give me a Samsung phone.
You had an iPhone, right?
Yeah,
okay,
and I'm like, no, it's like it's not broke. I'm not gonna fix it, kind of thing. Like.
The sales, like the Verizon or the sales.
It was like the store. They were like, like the Samsung phones are $0. Like you just take one, and the other one was not. And I'm like, but then I gotta like, I can't click on that green, like then instead of the text coming up blue, they're green. It's a really big deal.
We would throw you out of the group text.
You know what?
We've thrown people out of the group
if
text
I was,
for less.
This is a free lesson for Google or Samsung or whomever. If you guys would get your shit together and solve that one problem, their business would explode.
Probably.
Really, like when I'm in a group thread with someone who has a
Android
Google phone, when they double click and I do haha on their thing, or they do it on mine, and then it shows up that says laughed at, said sentence. All they have to do is solve that. If they solve that one problem,
but I think
they would be. Their stock price would soar.
I think it's Apple not letting them do that. I think that might be the problem.
They can't figure out a damn workaround.
I mean, if it's an Apple phone, they control the whole ecosystem.
I know.
I don't think there's a way around it because
right.
Apple won't allow it.
Yeah, if they do figure it out, like the infrastructure, they would figure out how to like undo what they did just to continue. Because
they should almost make it where they don't put anything. Like if you double click and it says haha, like you only see that. Like no one else sees it.
There's a couple of, like in our degenerate gambling poker group text, like the guys that have Androids or Samsung, whatever the heck they have, they'll copy, paste, and then put like a cry face. Like I'm laughing at what you just said.
Am I wrong? If they solved that one problem, it just made that better. I'm telling you, I would be like, yeah, I'll take the free Samsung phone. It's basically the only reason I won't switch. It's because of that stupid laughing thing.
I haven't
on the
used
text.
one in a while. I had BlackBerry probably like 15 years ago, and like it was just so like the iPhones are so intuitive. So I don't know if
I think
everything else is
I think
super.
they're all really awesome. I think the Samsung phone's like the best phone, but when you hit ha, it says Al laughed at.
I mean, that wouldn't be the only reason I would switch. I just like Apple stuff.
Well, that's fine, but there are plenty of people in my camp. I feel like they're that move away from seeing their stock soar.
Well, you also
Yeah, so is everything else compatible nowadays, like with all your apps? Because you got your iPhone store, or Apple, whatever, and you
Yeah,
get
they have
all,
like Google Store and Android Store.
But would
Everything's
it
the
all
same.
transfer? I guess so. Like
Yeah,
all these apps that you
yeah.
have on your iPhone.
I think there's actually a lot more freedom outside the iPhone store. I think the iPhone store is like a monopoly, essentially.
Well,
so this would work for you, but you're also the guy that hits on dudes at the bar and lets salesmen into their house. So
Listen.
the sample size might be very small.
I got a feeling I'm not wrong about that. It's probably divided more families apart than anything else on earth.
yeah, if everyone profiled their customer base based on you, it would be a very odd world.
Yeah, wouldn't be good.
I don't know if it wouldn't be good. It'd be hilarious, but
It'd be something.
So tell me this: what percentage of the door-to-door salesmen that have come into your guys' business, what percentage of them have you actually purchased stuff or from?
Low.
Like 1%?
Alan hired one of the guy's sons, and he lasted one day because he didn't feel fulfilled.
Oh,
It was amazing.
Jesus.
I heard it. I didn't even buy anything from the guy, but somehow we got to talking. And then his son, he said he's got a son, and we were looking to hire someone, 19-year-old kid. Kid starts, he's doing a job where he basically is going to be operating a machine. He has no skills. He's 19. He's kind of dopey. Starts on a Tuesday. Wednesday morning at about 9 a.m., he comes rolling in the office, and he's like, "Can I talk to you?" Number one, I'm like super annoyed because I'm trying to do stuff, and we hired this guy who's been here for 24 hours. I'm thinking he's got like something that I can actually help him with or something. Like, we're trying to be kind.
Yeah.
And he says, "I'm just not fulfilled in this job." I couldn't tell if he was joking, and so I just looked at him. I'm like, "You've been here for 8 hours. Like, maybe learn it first." And then he's like, "Well, I just don't see how it's gonna get better." And I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, "Is he freaking serious?" Like, and I'm like, "Dude, you're 19 and you have no discernible skill. Like, this is as good as it's gonna get. Like, we're paying you $15 an hour at a job where you have no skill. Like, maybe learn something and then go from there."
Well, and I think that's a big misconception too. Is everyone thinks that they need to feel fulfilled in every aspect of their job, and it's like there's going to be parts of your job that you like and parts that you don't
Correct.
like. That's normal.
No, nobody does. 100% of their job is their favorite thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a touring rock star, you're probably really annoyed about driving everywhere and having to sleep on a tour bus. It's probably not the greatest thing on earth. You'd rather be at home. But like, your life's still pretty cool. But like, there's certain aspects of it that suck. Like, LeBron James doesn't want to get up and work out every morning at 5:30. But like, he does it because he wants to be a pro athlete. Like, there's aspects of all of our lives that are not perfect, but some of these people, they don't understand that.
He might just be young, right? Because we're all
He is.
at one point we were all young and dumb and trying to figure shit out. Maybe he'll just
Correct.
he'll
Yeah,
learn.
I think
but-
it's
When you're 19, you can.
this generation's going to be different. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but we all had bullshit jobs where we didn't like quit. Like, whether or not it's washing golf carts or washing dishes or bussing
Yeah.
tables or
Yeah.
working in a bullshit factory or
Yeah,
whatever.
I
it
never
might be.
felt fulfilled in any of those jobs.
But the fact that he had the nerve to come in and suggest after a 1 8-hour shift, it was like,
And he left. That was the end of it.
and then his dad had the nerve to show back up a few months later and try to sell some payroll again.
Yeah. Yeah. So door-to-door salesman, pretty good.
Yeah, that's how you get rid of them. Thanks for checking out this podcast. Please make sure to hit that thumbs up button before you go. If you want to watch us continue the conversation, then click on this video to your left next.